Hello YouTube viewers, Facebook friends, Facebook family. I want to welcome you to another edition of Joe's Politics 101. Today is February the 11th, 2014. I want to talk a little bit about my channel. Most of you who have viewed my channel or have subscribed to my channel probably know by now and understand that my channel is based on offering opinions based on what I've read, listened to, and somewhat analyzed. I offer my opinion based on how I see it from my perspective. And what I feel is that my opinion, if not totally fact, is part and parcel to the truth. Now, one of the things that I have in my repertoire or in my thinking pattern is that it's also a prediction involved in that. You know, in my book Radical Republican Tea Party, I predicted that if the Republicans gained control of either the House of Representatives or the Senate, the way our country is governed would always be different, would be changed to being nothing. Nothing would ever get accomplished. That was a prediction that I wrote in my book. And that's where I stand. When I make my analysis of a subject, when I talk about a subject, it's my opinion based on my analysis and my prediction of what the outcome of that would normally be. That's what I try to do. Sometimes I get off on these little rants about things that kind of irritate me, but that's the way it goes. But today I want to talk about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. I read an article where he talks about society is oversensitive to the race issue. And I think he's off the mark. You know, as an Afro-American in America, I grew up prior to and during, and I've lived a long time after the Civil Rights movement. And I've seen changes, and I understand those changes, I recognize those changes, and I know the difference of what this society is today as to what it was back then. And there's not much difference. But one of the things that Justice Clarence Thomas talked about that sort of perked my interest to record this video is that he grew up before and during the Civil Rights movement, after which he left Georgia and moved north. And he said that, you know, the worst treatment that he ever had was in the north. Well, you know, I can understand that because, you know, there are people with problems with race all over this country. As a matter of fact, all over the world. What I believe has happened to Justice Thomas in his years of being away from, well, in his years since civil rights and, you know, desegregation and all of the things that has happened here, I believe that Justice Thomas has separated himself from the Afro-American experience. You know, many black Americans or Afro-Americans have a tendency that when they become successful, they forget about who they were, where they came from, and sometimes how they got to where they are. And they surround themselves with people that's not like them. You know, and I'm not invoking Mr. Thomas's family into this, but Mr. Thomas is married to a white female, a Caucasian female. I'm pretty sure that the majority of his friends and people that he associate with are Caucasians or of some other ethnicity group or race group other than Afro-American people. And that has a lot to do with how it has a lot to do with your perception of what you left behind. You know, I've always said that no matter how successful I get, I won't forget my roots. I won't forget where I came from. You know, and some people say, you know, that's easier said than done. Well, in my opinion, it won't change me. That's just my opinion of myself. You know, it doesn't matter how successful I get or where I move to. I'll always have that roots in my community where I grew up and in the value system that I grew up under and the history of the United States of America that I grew up in. You know, and one of the reasons that I'm really kind of agitated, to tell you the truth, about Mr. Thompson, Justice Thomas's statements is he's been a strong advocate of trying to get rid of some deals with the voting rights. You know, he voted against those things, or for them to get rid of them. The affirmative action programs that we had, he's been a vote to get rid of them. You know, and I'm pretty sure. You know, I'm just going to say this, and but I'm pretty sure that his going to Harvard, his law school where he went, was a part of that affirmative action program that got him to where he probably is today. And it pains me to know that an Afro-American who has risen into that realm of, you know, of being a person who makes judgments on how things should be in our society, have forgotten how he got to where he got to. You know, voters' rights. You know, he's against the Voters' Rights Acts that were put in place to make sure that states don't discriminate against Afro-American people or any other minority. You know, it's painful. It's really painful to have to think about that. Here's someone who knows what the deal is. He's smart enough and intelligent enough to understand that people stop you from voting because of the color of your skin. You know, he's wise enough and understands that you can't hide the color of your skin. You can't be behind, you know, you can turn your eyes blue, you can turn your hair straight, you can turn everything, but you can't hide your pigmentation. You know, and I'm not degrading Justice Thomas. I'm just saying that, you know, he probably should really look back into himself, look back on his past, his history, and try to understand that because it changed for him, don't mean it has changed for everybody. He managed to get out of it. He managed to get away from it. He think he got away from it. But I'm pretty sure that where he's at, there are people around him or that's associated with him when they're in private have a lot of things to say about him. just like they do President Obama or any other high-powered person, Eric Holder, senators, whoever may be in positions of power. Justice Thomas, I would say, look back into your past. Look back into your upbringing. Look back into who you are and understand who you are. And then look at where you are and understand what you have made yourself to be and to believe. I want to thank you for viewing my YouTube video. God bless you. God bless America. Ciao.